team. All right, okay, we're going to talk a lot about cardio today, our cardio movements, some coaching cues, some motivational techniques, and how to really kind of sandwich and match up all our cues together for some of our tougher cardio movements for our advanced athletes and for our beginners. So we will go through some regressions and progressions. So a regression is a modification that makes an exercise easier. Example is a push-up. Our standard push-up, we know we're on our toes, wrist, elbow, shoulder stack. I was going at 45 degrees, but a regression, our simple regression is dropping down to one knee or two knees. A good progression from a push-up is going to a decline push-up. So elevating the feet, hands are in the same position, core still tight, just a little bit harder because we're working at a harder range of motion there. Progressions for making that exercise a little bit harder, right? These are all fall under the realm of our exercise modifications. So a good example is that body weight squat jump, right? Squatting down as low as you can, getting that power and explosion, jumping up, leaving the ground. Lots of our members can't jump, or high impact hurts them. So taking it down to a body weight squat, not leaving the ground, into a calf raise or box squat so they can work on the range of motion. If we wanted to progress this, we can add something like a weight to make that squat jump a little bit harder, right? But when we're doing modifications, we always want to stay within the realm of the exercise we're doing. So we don't want to change an exercise completely. We want to have them use the same joint actions if possible and the same muscle groups if possible. One of the easiest way to progress any exercise is to add a weight, right? Make it a little bit heavier. One of the easiest way to progress an exercise is to take away a weight. Lots of times we put out those heavier weights for our dumbbell bench press and things like that. You can have a member go from two dumbbells to just to one heavy dumbbell to regress that exercise a little bit, but still have them get that stimulus out of it. Speed, all right. We always talk about tempo, pauses, pulses. These are great ways to progress an exercise, especially on a resistance day like today, like 50-50. Adding some pulses or a little bit of tempo for that last set is going to make sure they get that really good burn. So if we're doing something like that barbell squat, going for tempo on the way down, tempo on the way up makes it a lot harder. Slowing down a movement that's more plyometric, more aerobic, that is a good regression, right? Let's take the skaters a little bit slower. Let's take a hop, take a breath, take another hop, take a breath, making it a little bit slower. That way they can keep up and keep working through that whole timer. Hopefully they can build their endurance over time. Stability, going into a B stance for a lot of things like our RDLs and our kettlebell swings can make it a little bit harder. Having that one leg be supported or being on an uneven surface makes it just a little bit more challenging. For stuff like our single leg RDL, our good regression is to drop that back foot and turn into that B stance or that stagger stance RDL. That makes it just a little bit more digestible, a little bit more easy to get into that hinge pattern and a little bit better to understand the movement. Range of motion is a huge way to progress an exercise. Those deep squats, those deep lunges. One of the things we kind of miss a lot with our lunges is there's two ways to do them, right? We take that big step, we're going to hit more hamstring, more glute. We take a little bit of a smaller step, we're going to hit more quad. A forward lean is going to hit more hamstring and glute as well. Staying nice and upright when we're doing those lunges, you're going to hit a little bit more quad. So you can play with these with your members, ask it based on their goals what they want to hit. Partial range of motion is going to help a lot. Lots of times you're going to get members who they may have a structural issue with their hips, their elbows, their shoulders. They can't really lock things out. You can keep them into that range of motion where they're still feeling the stimulus until they can get to that full range of motion. Progressions, once again, we can make it more complex. I love adding a little bit of a rotation to our bicep curls or some pauses or adding another element to it, to a bicep curl, to a press or something like that. Something that just makes it a little bit more hard, but definitely digestible and easy for those members who want that challenge to understand and then perform it. Another good regression is to isolate a joint and doing one at a time. Sometimes we're seeing a little bit of asymmetry when we're going for those dumbbell bench presses. So having a member just do one at a time. So we're holding up two, we're getting a stimulus out of that straight arm, and we're going down with one at a time, exhaling as we're pressing up, inhaling on the way down. They're performing the same joint action, but it's a little bit less taxing on their entire body as they try to perform the exercise. We always want to demonstrate first. Have them watch you perform the movement either with the weight or body weight version of it, and then break it down slowly with them. As you're breaking it down, you should be clear and concise and be coaching them through the movement as they do it with you, hammering down on those big major cue points. Remember, team, red is your green. When you see that red timer on, that is your go, go, go. That's when you can get into the nitty gritty, the details, the why. This is what muscles we're working on. This is how we engage them. Coach hard in between sets. That is not your rest time. That is your go time. Watch your body position and tone. So you want to be seen in front of that member, make eye contact with them. You want to be clear and concise. Their cues should be short and quick, nice and loud, and be adaptive. Know the person who you are talking to. If we're talking to that go-getter who's coming in to sweat and burn tons of calories and wants the most intense workout, we can be aggressive. If we're coming into a person who is intimidated by lifting weights, intimidated by cardio, we want to be a little bit more gentle with that person, be a little bit more motivational and encouraging. A good setup is going to be the key for all movements. Their foot placement, their hand placement, how they position their body, their back, their shoulders, the core engagement. That good setup is going to lead to that good execution. You can coach a lot of these things in your demo as a demo coach. If you are setting up with good form, you initiate the rolling the shoulder back, emphasizing the bracing of the core, members are going to do those things when they get to that station. Remember, team, is one step at a time. Don't want to come to a member and try to break down and fix everything all at the same time. Hey, bend your knees, pop your chest down, lift those elbows back, do this, do that, do that. They're just going to get completely overwhelmed, and you're probably going to run out of time anyway. Prioritize the things that need to be fixed, the things that are going to be the most dangerous. Make sure the spine is neutral, their head is in the right position, they have enough space to move, and they're not doing anything too dangerous. I always like to thank for our progressions and regressions, especially regressions. If it's a multi-joint exercise and they're really struggling with it, can we break it down to a single joint exercise and they can perform it better? If we have a multi-joint exercise and we want to make it a little bit harder, could we add another joint to that, right? Can we do a barbell clean into a reverse lunge, right, and get some more out of that exercise? Sandwich method, team, sandwich method. You got to motivate and encourage your fam, all right? Nice speed. Now stay low on that shuffle. You're absolutely crushing it. Keep it going. This galvanizes your members, keeps it going. Everybody wants to hear that cue from you. They want to hear, yes, Susan, absolutely keep going. You're absolutely killing it. Keep going all the way. This keeps the room flowing and that energy up in that class. Some motivational phrases we can throw out, because I know I do it. I'm a guilty victim of it, especially for classes like marathon that kind of just go on and on and on and on. Tend to say the same things all the time. Come on, team. Come on, fam. Let's go. You got this. Those are great. I don't want you guys to stop doing those, but I want you to try to start including a little bit more motivation to galvanize the room, to keep them going, to keep them excited throughout that entire workout. Keep pushing. Don't waste time on that rep, right? You see that's 10 seconds on the clock. People start to slow down. No, don't tell them to slow down. We're working hard. We're going to push all the way through that timer. The heaviest weight was that front door. Now let's commit to this together. That is an awesome tagline that you can say right after your intro to really galvanize the room before they start their warm up. You start with that, you lead an excellent warm up. They're really going to be ready to smoke that class. This is where you earn it. Give me two more. When you see that member start to shake, start to tremble, start to second guess if they're going to really finish through those last 10 seconds, those last few seconds, that's where you really want to engage them to keep pushing, to keep grinding, to keep going. That's going to help them with their endurance and their overall athleticism. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. This is probably like my favorite catchphrase. I do not like to see members go through the motions. I'm constantly handing out a little bit heavier weights, little micro challenge, or setting those small goals or those small rep targets that are going to help members push at that station, get the most they can out of it, right? They're not here to go through the motions and be in a maintenance phase. They're here to challenge themselves and change their bodies. You're stronger than fatigue. This is like at the end of marathon. Those last three stations are always tough, right? Or even the end of 2-2. You can absolutely do this. You're stronger than this. Don't succumb to those inner demons in your head. Let it out through your exercise. It's okay to get loud. This actually helps you push harder. They did a study on it. So having them yell through a rep or push through a rep is totally okay, as long as the rest of your studio is okay with it too, of course. We like to yell a lot, River City. I bark a lot. So these are some good corrective phrases we can kind of pop out and throw to get a lot of touches in the room. And we want to really target these dependent on their personality and their training style. So these phrases are for beginners, maybe intimidated by cardio or intimidated by resistance, and trying to get them to just understand and just keep going. This is a really tough one. Now let's reset and try it again smoothly. That's when you break it down for them, Barney style, step by step, and show them how to go through it. There's going to be some tough exercises, and you want to really show them your expertise and your care, and you have empathy, and help them get through that tough exercise. Help them get through those few minutes, because they're not going to see that station again. So help them get through those few minutes so they feel confident going into the next station, not like they're going to get slammed by the next station coming up next. It's okay to slow down. Try focusing on your breath work in through the nose, out through the mouth. This is a very good cue for cardio stations that take a lot of rhythmic breathing, something like our burpee. Our burpee is very important that we inhale on the way down, and then we're exhaling as we're trying to explode up. That rhythmic breathing is going to help them work through that entire set. We always see a little bit of that slow down. So towards the end of that timer, if you can help them focus on their breathing, not even look at that timer, head down, I'm just going down, I'm pushing, I'm exhaling as I'm coming up, and you're standing next to them and yelling that inhale on the way down, explode, exhale on the way up. Big breath at the top, go back down. This is going to help them push through that timer, coach them through that rhythmic breathing. I don't care how many reps you get. I just want you to keep moving. I'm right here next to you. It's about quality, not quantity. I don't care about the person who can do 1,000,000 barbell presses like this. That's not good quality. I want the guy or the lady who can do 3 and it's just a graze on the bar and she's pressing up and up as hard as they can, but they're in absolute perfect form. That person is going to get the most out of that exercise today. All right. It's always about quality, not quantity. Can you pull your elbows together just a little bit more? This is how we can ask as we're trying to cue somebody into better position. It gives them a little bit of autonomy. Can you do it this way? Can we make it a little bit more challenging? Or can you engage your core a little bit more so you can feel a little bit more of the exercise? This makes them feel like they have a little bit of control. And you always want to affirm with them and let them know that those small changes can make a big difference. And it's something I hear in my studio all the time, that myself and my coaches go around, we make minor tweaks and it changes the exercise completely. Tuck in your hips when you're in that bear hold position. Now we can really feel the core. Why did it get so much harder? Because now you're using your body, right? It was already a hard movement. Now we're actually using our whole body. So these are phrases we can be a little bit more direct with our athletes. Our intimidating member who comes in, they got a bunch of tattoos, big muscles like me. Good. Thank you, somebody, for laughing. I appreciate you. Thank you all. They're intimidated. They want to go after it. You don't know what to say to them. Maybe you're not comfortable enough to be technical with them just yet, but you can be very direct to them and they're going to respect you for that. Hey, don't rush, focus on it 1 rep at a time, do it right. I know you can do this, right? You're kind of calling out their integrity and their athleticism. So they're going to really focus and lock in on what they're doing. Hey, lock it in. Don't lose that posture. I like saying this a lot to my military guys. Position of attention, shoulders back and down when we're doing those RDLs. Keep that back nice and flat. Being short, concise, clear with them, telling them exactly what you want. It helps them get a lot of that exercise. Keep that core tight. This is a phrase that you should be sick of saying, like I am, but it's one that is so important to say. Core is built into pretty much every exercise in F45. And if you're not engaging that core, we're going to hear about that low back pain. And I hate hearing about that low back pain because I pretty much say engage your core in every exercise when I'm doing my intros. Really keep that core engaged. And if they start to lose it, hey, reset, drop the weight, take a breath, re-engage the abs, pick up the weight, and let's keep going. Let's get back to work, right? Come on, Jack. I've seen you do this before. I know you can do it again, right? This is when they're going for that 4th set or that 3rd set or that 2nd lap. You know they want to back down. This is how you keep them to stay consistent, right? Because the consistency is going to get them to adapt and be stronger and build that endurance. And I've seen you do it before. I know you got this. Let's go. Let's grind. It's work time. These are great things to just splurt out and keep them going. Stay low the whole time. Don't you quit on me. When I hear this one, I think of those dead ball squat pulses. As the timer goes on, you see people get higher and higher, peaking up at the clock, stopping in a pulse and just holding it for, which is okay as well. But we want them to stay low. They want them to keep those muscles engaged to really work on that endurance. Telling them to stay in there, stay low. You got it. Counting down that timer with them, pulsing it out with them, staying low with them. and then give that good affirmation, that solid high five at the end. All right, team. So let's get into some exercises here. First one here is our step trainer double tap with a sprawl. This exercise is about agility, speed, and coordination. Lots of our members struggle with coordination. So breaking it down for them Barney style is going to be very helpful. Well, let's talk about the progression first. We have our mini bands. We can throw that band over the thigh, or we can add another step underneath those risers just to make it a little bit more challenging, or drive that knee into the chest as they switch those legs. A good regression for this is just slow down that pace. Maybe counting out the steps with them so they can get an idea of how to be more rhythmic with their movement, rhythmic with their breathing. Doing a single tap instead of that double tap. And your big cues for this are going to be quick and light on your toes. Keep your eyes up and your chest forward. When we're landing on that push-up, we're landing on the balls of our feet and eccentrically going down slow into that push-up. A good breakdown here is obviously walking the feet out, dropping to the knees for that push-up, but still working on that explosion back up, stepping back forward, and keep going. We really want to watch those knees from caving in. And as you tell them to put that foot on the floor, they should be trying to crack the floor open. So it's like a hard jab into the floor. And that's your good mental cue. Pairing those visual cues with those mental cues, team. You want to sandwich them, double them together, or triple them up. That's how they're really going to get the most out of your coaching. The forward shoot through. This movement is near and dear to my heart. Members hate these, and lots of times won't even bother doing them. But this is probably one of my favorite movements to do. It makes me feel athletic. It makes me feel like Spider-Man. And it also is very similar to some of the movements I used to do when I was wrestling. This is a core movement. We're going to see our shoulder, a lot about mobility as well. And that's a great way to regress it for members as well, is let them know it's get the mobility out of it. We don't have to do it fast. Once we get it, let's get the mobility out of it and go through full range of motion. If you're moving better, you're going to feel better. A great way to progress this is to add a push-up in between reps, or to make it super fluid and super fast, trying not to stop between that transition. So really hopping those feet right back over to the other side, shooting that leg up, coming right back over, and doing the same thing on the other side. We can regress this by elevating the hands on top of the box, or just slowing it down. Another good regression is sticking to that bear hold and getting into those shoulder taps, or some double leg mountain climbers when we're moving both those legs to the outside. I always say a stacked joint is a stable joint. So we definitely want to see that wrist, elbow, shoulder stacked in one good line, those knees right underneath the hips, a little bit of more flexion in the spine so they can really engage that core. We want to keep, when we see this exercise, we want to see those knees nice and low to the ground. I say like just about an inch off the ground, their butt staying nice and low. Tell them to really brace their core like somebody's going to punch them in the stomach. If they're not going to brace their core because somebody's going to punch them in the stomach, I don't know what they're doing. That should get them to tighten up pretty hard. The side burpee. This is a tough one, all right, but definitely a good one. Once again, we want to incorporate that rhythmic breathing. Great progression to this to make it more explosive. This is an explosive exercise, so we're going to go down to the ground fast. We're not even going to do the push-up. We're going to hop those feet up and bring our knees into our chest for that tuck jump at the top, right? So jumping the feet up, bring the knees into the chest. Our regression is going to be to step it out, hands to the ground, step the feet out, step a foot out to the side, bring that foot back to the middle, step it back up, reach to the sky, maybe give me a little calf raise at the top. All right. Want to explode laterally, stick the landing, snap those feet underneath you, and spring back up. Poor landing, poor mechanics are going to make the exercise more difficult. So we want to land softly like a ninja, but explode up violently like we're a Viking. All right, our mountain climbers into a sprawl. Another good tough one, but wrist, elbow, shoulder, once again, stacked in one good line. We're driving those knees right into the chest, and then we're hopping those feet up nice and wide for our sprawl. A good progression to this is to add a push-up to that sprawl. So we're right before we pop up for our sprawl, we're going to dive our chest to the ground, elbows going out 45 degrees, then pop up into our sprawls. A good regression to this is just slow down that mountain climber. Instead of jumping up for our sprawl, we can walk those feet up, pop the hands up, place them back down, walk them back out, and then get right back into those mountain climbers. Drive your knees in like you're sprinting, like we're coming off those sprint blocks. Drop and pop back up fast from that sprawl. You want to keep those hips low, and a great way to cue keeping those hips low is keeping those hands right over the shoulders. That should give them that tabletop form. For the exercises like these and like a renegade row, sometimes I will get down on my knee, as you all should. If you're coaching this movement, we don't want to be standing above that member, yelling down at them. Get down onto the floor with them, get on their level. Go ahead and place your hand on their back. Tell them that your hand is a glass of water and they can't spill it. They got to be very stable at their core. That's a good tactile key for you guys. Our pendulum lunge. This is a tough one too. Lots of members have troubles with their lunges. Think they want to take a shorter step than a bigger step here, just for that speed and fluidity, balance, and unilateral strength. A good progression is to hold the dumbbell. We can add a weight for this one. You hold the dumbbell, hold the kettlebell, just making it a little bit harder. Good regression is to use a dowel. Bring out that revo bar, give them a little bit of stability as they can push forward and back and drive through that front heel. Slow is strong. So I say slow is fast and fast is smooth. So that's what we really want to see. I want to see that fluidity as they're going from the front to their reverse lunge. We want to push through their heel for both lunges, forward and reverse. Pushing through their heel, it's going to get them to engage their core, their quads, and their glutes. Stay tall. Find your focal point on the floor. Make sure you're stepping to the same spot every time. That's how you get those consistent ranks. All right, this one is our super complex one that we all love to coach. When you guys see these exercises in the workout, make sure you're starting just a little bit early to give yourselves that time when you're doing your intro, when you're doing their demo, so you can spend extra time on these movements that are super complex, right? This is Olympic lifting. People who come across that love this stuff, they're like, yeah, we got hang cleans and squats today. Or people who just love cardio are like, what are we doing with that barbell? It's going to take full body strength, and also takes a lot of explosiveness, and you want to preach that when we're talking about these exercises. A good progression to this is just going to be to increase the load, add that rep target, or add a little bit of tempo. As we come out of that press, can we come down nice and slow, really get a good burn into those shoulders? A good regression to this is we're going to be using a dumbbell, a revo bar, or anything just a little bit lighter, so they can get the range of motion and get the technique before we start loading it up, right? We want to see that good range of motion and emphasize that good form before we load it up. Keep it light, keep it easy form. Big cues for this one: big shrug up as we're coming out of that deadlift form, driving those elbows up high to the ceiling, and then your arm's going to be like hooks. As you throw your elbows to the ceiling, your hands are going to kind of just hook that barbell up as you throw your hands to the ceiling. Dropping underneath the bar as we're pulling it up. So we're not pulling it up to our chest and then rotating our elbows. As we're pulling it up, we're going to drop down underneath the bar. I like to say, rotate yourself underneath it. That way you get yourself right into that squat. You can explode up, use that momentum from your legs as you drive through your heels, keeping your core tight, getting those biceps right by your ears for your press. You want to watch that early arm bend, that muscling it. It's coming away from the body. I like Vass's one where he stands right in front of a member. I've been doing that a lot at the risk to my own peril for members, but it's been working extremely well. I just tell them my skin is extremely sensitive and my wife is going to be mad if you hit me. So make sure you keep it nice and close to your body, clean it up, drop them into your good squat. Of course, once they drop the barbell, give them a high five. Our plyo lunge. This is a super tough one. Members don't like these a lot either. When we're showing our regression, they almost immediately go for it. Yeah, I'm just going to do reverse lunges with a pulse, which is a great regression, right? The pulse is going to keep teaching them that power and explosion as they switch their feet. So this is a great regression, but if they can do it, they should do it. Give me 2 or 3 jumps if you can jump, and then go into your pulses. Break it down to that regression when you need to, not because it's there and you have to and you want to, right? We can also progress this by doing this a little bit faster or holding us a dumbbell. Just a small weight is good. We don't need to hold a 60 as we do plyo lunges. A 20 pound, an 18 pound, a 15 pound is perfect, okay? Or even a smaller dead ball or medicine ball is perfect, right? We don't got to make it crazy. No barbells on the back for this one team. We want to switch those feet mid-air, right? That's going to take a little bit of that coordination. You might have to coach that jump and switch, jump, switch, jump, switch. These are good cues, good tactile cues, and visual and verbal cues for you to go with. That soft landing, like that ninja landing, don't want to hear you hit the ground, and that soft tap of the knee to the ground, not bashing it into the floor. Don't chase speed, chase control. I love this. Lots of time with our plyo lunges, we'll get really narrow with our stance, and we'll start to lose balance, right? Tell them the feet should still be shoulder width apart to start. And that's how we're going to keep our balance and our coordination as we're going in and out of those plyo lunges. Our suspension trainer squat jump. It's all about power, using those suspension trainers as a little bit of assistance and focusing on that eccentric strength as we come down into that squat. A good progression to this is to add tempo. So as we explode out of that squat jump, we want toes hit the floor first, then our heels, and then we're going to slowly push our butt back. Let those arms release. Lots of times we see our members just staying really tight on those suspension trainers. Tell them to let their arms release, get as deep And it's low, messing with our range of motion, getting a little bit lower, and explode out of that movement again. A good regression is going to be to use something to support that squat depth. So maybe placing a box behind them so they can tap it with their butt and have them explode up. Another good progression is going to some single leg squat jumps. These are a little bit tougher. Definitely need those suspension trainers for that, but it can be done. That's going to be for your hard advanced athlete. Sit the hips back, control the landing, keep the tension in the straps, right? So if we're releasing our arms, we don't need to keep the tension here. We can keep the tension here. That's by pushing our butt back, engaging our core, and elongating our arms. Watch those hips for dropping too fast. You want to resist the gravity. Remember, one of the big portions for this movement is we're getting a lot of that eccentric dropping out into that squat, and then we're working on that power and explosion as we come out of that squat. The shuttle sprint, members take this one like one or two ways. Like, yeah, we're doing a little bit of running. I get to run in the studio, and I know every studio is built different. Members take this one differently. Either they see it and they're like, yeah, I'm going to get after it, or they're like, okay, I'm just going to jog for the 2.5 minutes I have to be here. So I'm just going to kind of lightly saunter back and forth. Get after them on this one. Run with them, do it with them, race them. I do that a lot in the studio, race them a little bit. A good progression from this one, depending on your studio, is having them go outside. If you have the room or the distance for them, if it's safe, have them go outside and get a little more distance so they can really get that acceleration and work on that agility and speed. Another way, if you don't have the room, is to maybe shorten the distance. So they really have to work on that agility, be quick and snappy, use those pitter-patter feet as they stop at one cone and go back to the other, right? Working on that deceleration and quick turnaround and acceleration. A good regression for this is going to be some walking. I like to say sometimes maybe you can walk one way and then run the other as we're getting more tired. That's something you can definitely do for the 2 minutes. A lateral shuffle is also another really good regression. It's just a little simpler, easier movement. Treat it like a skip or a hop, right? A little bit more fun, a little bit more playful, something you can do with the members and joke along with them as you're skipping from station to stage or from cone to cone, sliding back and forth. But you still want to keep emphasizing good things like staying on the balls of your feet, staying nice and light, staying bouncy, having them still squat down and touch that cone before they go back to the other side. So when we're doing these shuttle sprints, you want to keep your center of gravity low. So we shouldn't be running super tall with our chest up. We should be really trying to get after it, staying low. That pitter-patter turnaround and pivot back to the other direction a lot easier. It's harder to get back down if you're tall. But if you're already low, you're already there, right? You want to really drive your arms into your pockets. We don't see those arms flaring around everywhere, right? Keep them nice and in, tuck close to the body that we can reach down, tap the cone, and head back the other direction. Sink low, pitter-patter those feet, turn back, hit the other direction. Our push-up needs another fun one. I love these combo moves, right? So we're working our chest here, working our core, and we got that good old coordination that everybody loves. We can break this down a lot of ways. A good progression to this is just going to be adding another push-up in here. Let's get a double push-up. Let's get a double knee tuck. Let's count our reps, have them really push and grind through that entire timer. A good regression to this is to do one single knee tuck at a time. So just driving one knee into the chest like we're doing a mountain climber, and do that push-up completely separate if they can do it from their toes. If they can't do it from their toes, have them drop to their knees and do that push-up, or drop to one knee and do that push-up. Remember, pushing as far away from the floor as possible. So we want to really try to separate their scapula. So have their shoulder blades feel nice and round. The hips are tucked in. Your back should be flat. Glass of water on the back. Can you be stable? And really drawing that belly button into the spine. Getting that really good lumbar flexion, right? Our hammer squat. This one, it's not in here, but this one does take a lot of coordination. It's confusing because it looks like a lot of things that it's not. It's a Y bell clean to squat to jump. Right? So we're going to clean up that Y bell to the chest, drop into a nice deep squat, and then jump out of that squat. And when we're doing our cleans, our barbell clean, our Y bell clean, our dumbbell clean, it doesn't matter. I like this triple extension. So we want to extend the ankles, knees, and hips, right? We're trying to be explosive. So you want those to be at their most extended position. That's how we focus on that power. A good progression of this is to use a heavy slam ball. They can still slide their hands around it as they bring up to their chest, drop into that deep low squat, and explode out of it. Or they can even add a pulse at the bottom of that squat before they explode out of it. It's getting a little bit more time under tension. A great regression to this is going to be to break it down. So let's do our squat. Let's bicep curl it up to the chest. Let's get back down to a squat, and let's get it to a calf raise at the top. taking out that jump or limiting some of that range of motion. Drop that hammer down hard, explode up even harder. Keep your chest up loud and proud. Lots of times when we're doing our squats and cleans like that, we're getting too much hinging. Remember, for the squat movement, we want our chest probably a little bit more vertical than more horizontal. We want to definitely watch that rounding of the back, and always brace the core like you're about to be hit, like you're about to get punched in the gut. Come keep those abs tight. So this is going to really help you guys tailor those individual needs to your members and help you own your craft. Remember, we are personal trainers who are training a group class, and we want to deliver that one-on-one experience. Sam's doing these things together, breaking down what fits best for them based on their athleticism, their experience in their studio, their injuries, their medical history, the stuff you know about, right? If we've built our rapport, we've gathered information, we've seen them move, or even if this is your first time moving, this is where we can dig, right? Giving them that personalized feeling for our generalized program. Talk about some of these strategies with your teammates, with your head coaches, with your manager, and how you can implement these and even include some of these during your intro or your demo. These cardio mechanics take a lot. There's a lot of different things, moving parts. We're training different parts of the body. We're training different energy systems, making it short, concise, and easy for people. It's going to let them get the most out of it, and you get the most out of it yourself. I'd love to hear if any of you have any exercises that you've been struggling with. Our lateral dumbbell raise today, seen lots of funky movements with that. But one thing I did with my team today is I told them, I'm going to stand behind you. I'm going to tap you on your elbows. And that's what I want you to imagine where the weight is. We're really just driving our elbows up towards the ceiling and then bringing our palms back to face each other. And so they have that visual and mental and that tactile cue on the outside. But somebody give me an exercise that you've been struggling with.
What about those gorilla bounds that we saw a couple weekends ago? From cone to cone, those were pretty epic.
Those are my actual new favorite movement. I want to do those every cardio day. I compared it to leapfrog. I don't know anybody who didn't play leapfrog as a kid, or at least know what that is. I also cued it as a moving sprawl. We do a ton of sprawls. Like, you're kind of starting in that plank position, and then you're popping your feet up to the outside of your hands, and then you're lifting your chest so that you can go right into the next rep. So both of those I found were really resonating with people. Leapfrog and a moving sprawl. I doubt that we're going to see that one super frequently, which makes me really sad, but would love to see it again. I'm going to tell Jenny that we need that more often.
I'm going to have to go back and look at that one and try it out.
It's so fun.
It was all over social media, that's for sure.
Thank you for bringing that up, Joey.
On that same kind of level, the one-legged burpees.
Yeah.
Those were interesting, and my class definitely had some very strong opinions on what we're doing.
Yeah, that one's a super tough one. Let's do a single leg walkout, right? Hinge, get that good single leg RDL, keeping one leg floating into the air, walk those hands out, maybe a little forward reach, right? So we can really extend ourselves, crawl the hands back, and try to stand up on one leg, maintaining that balance.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody did it yet. It was for 2-2. It's like essentially like a reverse burpee to jump up to get onto the box. So what would, for physical limitations, what modification did you guys use in your classes?
So putting something underneath the box so it doesn't move. We've done this before in the studio, and they can hook their feet into the box to help them pull themselves up, walking their feet back instead of jumping them back once their feet are planted into the floor, then dropping down to their knees for that push-up. Like, the biggest part of that, and it's just like our reverse burpee, is going to take a lot of core strength. And if you don't have the core strength or the hip mobility to get your chest to your knees, that's the first thing we want to work on. So breaking it down, have them extend their spine, roll their spine off the floor, engage that core, reach forward as much as possible, and then ultimately try to get them to bring their feet back and get to that push-up or get that explosion up.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mitch. It's so much about the core. You both paralleled it to a reverse burpee because it's basically reverse burpee, just broken down a little bit. A very common regression that I use for a reverse burpee in general is to add that plate, because when you swing a plate forward, it helps you shift your center of gravity forward so that you're able to get yourself to that standing position a lot more quickly. And it's equally as helpful in this situation. You're not able to roll the lower half of your body back quite as much, but that kind of whipping yourself up with the plate on the way up, I find is really helpful. And then you can just kind of rest the plate on the box as you grab it on the outside with your hands and just go right into that push-up.
Yeah, that forward momentum from a weight, dumbbell, plate, getting that power chop in.
Heather, what's up?
Hey, just going to add into that one. Anna, exactly what you said. That's how we staged it. And then anchoring that box down so it doesn't lift as they're trying to grip onto it. We just put some hella heavy dumbbells in there to keep it grounded. Just like I think it was Mitch said earlier, you can focus on either the beginning half of that movement or the ending half. And so exactly like a reverse burpee in that first half of the movement. And so you could put a balance trainer behind them, something that elevates them a little bit higher. So either the balance trainer, or you could even stack a couple plates, just something that will get them up off the ground a little higher and go from that low position and learning how to get yourself up.
Addition of an incline. That's a really, really good idea. That's great.
How about this? Somebody give me a good progression to a simple movement we do all the time, like lateral lunges.
You could go for mobility there, or you could add in tempo. So if you want it to go for mobility, stepping all the way out in that lateral stance, bring it down all the way to your glute, like to where you're sitting on the ground. Bring that lunging leg as you're sitting into the ground. Bring it in just for some extra mobility right there. And then come all the way back up to that starting position. Otherwise, I would say tempo or weight additions.
For sure. I had a member, and he's a marathon runner, and he just started taking a lot of our resistance classes because he wants to get stronger. I was like, okay, you want to get stronger? You're moving really fast right now. Are you trying to build strength, or are you trying to focus more on your muscular endurance? He told me straight up endurance. I need to be able to go and have my muscles have a lot. I was like, all right, so let's really lighten the weight. We're doing the bent over rows, go a little bit faster, and really emphasize on just using your arms. His body was bouncing a little bit. So tabletop back, popping the chest out, us getting a lot of reps working through that timer. That's going to work on your muscular endurance rather than you just trying to pick up the heaviest weight and have not so great mechanics as you're going through those reps. So you can help your team find the focus or for what their goals are in each exercise and each workout.
The advanced rows, where people have set up for that one with the advanced box row. I think the main thing is just encouraging people to try. So no matter what it is, we just had the advanced box rows, and that's why it made me think of it. Everyone was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not accepting that as an answer anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we're going to try it once. If it doesn't work, I will then give in. But for the most part, they'll be able to get one or two, and then I'll let them turn around and do it the way they want. But the compromise is really what I'm looking for.
I like that a lot, though, Jeremy. The compromise, right? Do one or two. I give rep targets for burpees for everybody. Like, I know you can do 5. You can be consistent with those 5. I'm going to be happy. But you're not going to sit there or do these walkouts and really get nothing out of this exercise. Use your time wisely. Find that compromise, that middle ground. What's good for them? What's good for you? Push them a little bit. Haley.
I don't know about you guys, but whenever we see an eccentric pull up, our members are just like, nope, I'm just going to go regular pull up, use the bands. But I always tell our coaches to encourage people who can't do a full pull up yet to, instead of using the bands, jump and slow release. And a lot of them are like, no, like can't do that. They surprise themselves when they can jump and slowly release and then step back to the box. A lot of our members are very hesitant to do that.
Yeah. For that eccentric pull up, I like to have them just hold up there at the top too.
Yeah.
I don't want them down. Fine, stay there. Engage those lats. Throw those shoulders back and down. Just stay up there. Stay up there as long as you can. Once you can't hold anymore, come down as slow as you can. Jump back up off that box and reset. A big cue I was using for that one on Tuesday was telling my members to go in slow motion. If they saw pull-ups and they're like, oh, it's pull-ups, it's chin-ups, I'm just gonna rep it out. And I'm like, no, it's eccentric. We're going in slow motion. Keep as much time and attention as you can. Another thing with that pull-up is one of our main movements now, having those feet forward and getting that good core engagement. One, it's just gonna stop that crazy swinging we see on the pull-up bars, and two, getting that good core engagement is going to help them engage their lats more, right? If they're engaging their lats more, they're engaging their body more, the legs are nice and straight, the core is tight, they're going to get a little bit more out of that pull-up.
Oh, I have one. The dual dumbbell squat jack jump.
Oh,
You're welcome.
I believe there's two versions of that.
There are two versions of it. There are, for sure.
There's like our, I'm sorry, I didn't demo these before. There's like our
Please
start
demo it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Demo.
Right, where we're coming to the middle and we're kind of like exploding out, right? And then there's just like our one that's just more power jump where we're staying from right here, right? So we're thinking deep squat. So every time we're doing that deep squat, chest is up loud and proud, we're pushing the butt back, right? We're exploding up and forcing our arms out or punching out towards the walls, getting nice and wide before we come back to the middle. Regression is going to be just taking out that explosion, getting onto those tippy toes, right? Or even breaking it down a little bit further, getting your squat, curling it up, pressing it out, bring it back, and going back to that squat. We want light dumbbells after these, just like our punches. Like, we shouldn't be using 15s, 20s for these. You want your 6s, your 9s, your 4s, your 2s, stuff like that. Stuff we can really explode in and out with, especially on those joints that can cause some stability issues like our shoulders. We'll talk about our first one there, our star jump one. That deep squat, exploding out, bring those hands back in, landing on those toes, and then bring those hands back in, going right back to that deep squat. The jumping jack one, that's more just the dumbbells are staying here. Bring the feet in and out. This one is not so hard, but once again, if we're using our light dumbbells, this can get exhausting really quick, really depending on how we're putting out our shoulders. If they're out in front of us, we're really going to fatigue those shoulders a little bit quicker. We're going right out to the side. We're going to use our rotator cuff a little bit more. Your shoulders going to be a little bit more stable. Once again, you need some rhythmic breathing with those. So as we're jumping out, we're exhaling. As we're coming in, we're inhaling. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, all the way in and out.
What's happening right now is making me throw back to COVID when we did like virtual workout sessions. I think that this should be a thing. Every so often we have Mitch lead a workout.
Oh, for sure. I'm for it. I used to do it all the time.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, guys, I really appreciate you all stopping in and spending some time with me. We definitely will jump around and you'll see me demo a lot more for the next one. And I'll see you guys next time for sure.
Thank you, Mitch.
Get out there.
Later, Mitch.
Later, guys.